Okay. Moving on to task number one. Okay. Mm, Okay. Task number one is basically a rental agreement, which we will be drafting. A rental agreement basically, wanted to do it the last month, but since we had Paramita ma'am take over, we, kept it at the Section 138 negotiable instrument itself. So, before anything, I would like to give you like just a brief of any rental agreement, basically, for that matter. Um, a rental. Okay. So I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I hope everything is clear. I'm sorry for the
Yes,
disturbance.
ma'am.
Okay. Um, so basically, a rental agreement is a legal contract between the landlord and the tenant that outlines the terms and conditions of the rental property. It is a crucial document which serves to protect the rights and responsibilities of both the landlord as well as the tenant, which are the parties involved in a particular in the rental agreement. Um, the meaning, again, giving you another different meaning, is basically a more comprehensive meaning is basically a rental agreement is a legally binding contract which specifies the terms and conditions of the rental agreement. It typically includes a lot of details. Okay, if you've ever seen a rental agreement, it includes everything from your name to where you're from, to your address, to your old address, to the owner, to the place you stayed at before, how well you left that place maintained. A rental agreement also includes the amount of money you need to pay as rent. It also includes what are the fixtures which come with the rental property, basically. For example, if I have rented a house, let's say I've rented this particular room that I'm in. So if I have basically, let's say, a earphones that comes along with it, I have a bulb that comes along with it. All of everything will be mentioned in the particular rental agreement. Each and everything which a particular room or a particular property it comes with. For example, let's say I've gone to live in a PG. In the PG, because you're living in a PG, there's not a rental agreement, but there are these kind of PGs which are like co-living spaces wherein you have rental agreements, wherein you basically a landlord or the person who owns that particular space will tell you that okay, this room or this particular house comes with, let's say, 10 tube lights, five fans, two AC, one TV. You have one Alexa. You have, let's say, three cupboards in each room, which we have four rooms, so it translates into 12 cupboards. Everything, even the smallest, tiniest of the bulbs that you have, will all be mentioned in the rental agreement. In case something gets misplaced or in case something gets destroyed, the amount will be deducted from your deposit money. It and it also includes what are the things that the landlord needs to take care of and what are the things the tenant needs to take care of. Usually, in most rental agreements, what basically happens is that in case you live in a space where, um, sorry, in case you live in a space which has a basement, which has a lot of, outdoor space, which has like corridors, or basically you live in an apartment, the landlord or the owner of the particular apartment uh, takes it upon himself basically to make sure that all the lights everywhere are working. He takes care that all the lifts are working. He takes care of some water maintenance, or you have your plumbing maintenance, at least at the place that I stay at. Um, Plumbing maintenance is on the landlord. Your common areas or common spaces are up to the maintenance of the landlord or the person who owns the particular plot of land. Then you have your electricity, which is again, so in apartments, basically in big apartment complexes, what happens is you get um, a sum. Basically, the landlord gets a sum. Like for example, in case you own a property which has, let's say, 10 flats, each flat, so you get an aggregate amount of, let's say, um, 60,000 rupees, right? Rupees 60,000. So what you do is then you go and register yourself with the BBMP. At least where I stay, it is the BBMP, or whichever is the board or the state at where you stay. You have the the state board, where the state electricity board, where you need to apply that, okay, hey, um I am building an apartment. I will have 10 flats in that. If you can you please give me a split bill, wherein just so that there is like I am paying only as much as I have used, just so that there is uniformity in that. A lot of these landlords actually go up to the state electricity board and they request them to, split the bill according to the amount which is spent by each apartment, or each house, or each let's say each room or each living space or each part of the apartment. um, all of that, everything and anything pertaining to the fact of that rental property, everything is mentioned in the rental agreement, right? So, moving on, there are certain essentials of a rental agreement. Firstly, or what the agreement must include. The agreement must include the names and details of both the parties. It must mention the name of the landlord as well as the name of the tenant. Must mention the address of both the landlord and the tenant. Must mention if they're married or if they're single, or if they are bachelors or spinsters, or if they have wives and husbands, or if they have children. Everything needs to be mentioned, especially for the tenant. It is not that important for all of these details to be mentioned of the landlord, but it's super important that the tenant mentions all of this, because he will be technically living with all of these people. So whoever is going to be part of the whoever is going to come and live with the tenant, all of their details also needs to be mentioned. uh, Sorry about that. There is also description of property. Which is what I said. It should give a detailed description of the property being rented. Firstly, its address. Secondly, the measurements of the property, like 40 by 50 or 50 by 60, 3,200 square feet, 2,100 square feet. All of that needs to be mentioned in the rental agreement. And any other specific features or amenities which are provided by the landlord, all of that also needs to be mentioned in the rental agreement. So, for example, like I already told you, in this room, what you can see this. The landlord can mention that the bed comes with a cushion. The landlord can also mention that the room comes with a bulb. The landlord can mention that the room comes with earphones. Landlord can mention that the room comes with a TV. He can mention that it comes with certain, cupboards and mirrors and, um, let's say, uh, meetings or anything else which is basically
Gadgets and fun.
included. Huh? Okay. Um, all right. So basically anything and everything which is describing the property and what it entails, what it includes, all of that needs to be mentioned in the rental agreement. Moving on, your terms of tenancy, wherein this includes the duration of the tenancy as well as the amount of rent, your due date for payment, your penalties, everything which is monetarily related to the rental agreement. All of that also needs to be included. You also need to include how how you'll pay the rent, by when you'll pay the rent, um, how much is the rent, what is your bank, what are your bank details. All of that needs to also be mentioned in the rental agreement. And the landlord must also mention in the rental agreement that he will take this much rupees penalty if you're not paying the rent. He will also mention his bank details in case the arrangement between the landlord and the tenant is that, bank transfer. He will mention his bank details as well. Um, then you have security deposit details. This is a very is not very old of a concept. It's a fairly recent concept, whereby the landlord basically takes a certain amount of money. It is usually 2 to 3 months rent, wherein he takes that money before even giving you the house or even giving you the rental property. And he says that, okay, if I will keep this security deposit with me, while you're leaving or whenever you're leaving, sorry, whenever you're leaving, you let me know, and I will either hand over the security deposit fully if you've not, messed up any of my properties. But if you have, I will deduct certain amount and I will give you the rest deposit when you're leaving. That is basically security deposit. It must also specify how much the security deposit is, and what are the conditions on which it can be used. Basically, when the landlord can use the security deposit, then and the circumstances or the times at which it can be returned to the tenant. Um, Next is maintenance responsibilities. Maintenance responsibilities is basically the responsibility split between the landlord and the tenant, whereby the landlord can say, okay, I will take care of all of the plumbing issues that you go through. I will take care of the electricity bill, but you need to take care of the outdoor space. You need to make sure that there is proper fencing, there's proper security, and all of that. So it is basically a bilateral agreement between the tenant and the landlord, wherein they say, okay, I will do this, 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 and this, and you will do this, 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 and this. um, and the responsibilities are split between uh, it- so basically divide and conquer. Both need to be happy. If I am a tenant, I need to be happy. If you are the landlord, you need to be happy. Both of us need to be happy, and that's when basically a rented property is uh, can be smoothly handed over from the landlord to the tenant. If there's conflict and clash, um there's no meeting of minds. What basically happens is that these maintenance responsibilities, okay, for example, I'm the landlord, you're the tenant. What basically happens is I will be like, no, I didn't say I will not do it, even though it probably is mentioned in the rental agreement, but I was forced to do it. I did not do it. And so all of this is so when a rental agreement is in conflict and it comes before the court of law, the court of law will look into what is written, right? So if you've written in the rental agreement that the landlord, which is me, I will take care of all the common areas and you will take care of all the repairings and fixtures and everything of your particular house or the property that you're living in. So what basically happens then is that the court will only look into the am I audible, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, thank you. Okay, maintenance responsibility. So basically, if a rental agreement comes into question before a court of law, the court of law will not look into who's right and who's wrong. It will look at the evidence, which is your rental agreement. That is why rental agreements are super important. Nextly, we have terms of termination, wherein it should specify the conditions under which any party can basically terminate the agreement. And this terms of termination can also include the fact that, okay, the landlord will be like, okay, I will give you 4 months notice before you'll have to vacate the land, and the tenant will be like, okay, cool. Sorry. The tenant will be like, okay, cool, you give me 4 months. I will give you a notice of, let's say, 2 months. So if the tenant leaves without informing the owner, without giving him a 2 months prior notice, uh, all of that can come into question, and all of that are actually fought in the court of law. So that is super important to have included in the rental agreement. So basically, what is the importance of legal of a rental agreement? Like I already told you, there is clarity and trust. There is legal protection, first of all. A well-drafted rental agreement can provide legal protection to both the landlord as well as the tenant, in case of disputes and any misunderstandings, etc. Then you have clarity and transparency, wherein everything related to the rental property is mentioned in the particular rental agreement, which includes your monetary value, who will take care of what, who are you, everything basically about the rental property and the landlord and the tenant, which is required for the rental agreement to come into play. All of that is mentioned in the rental agreement. Then you have security for both parties. It offers security to both the parties, whereby in case the landlord does something wrongful to gain something out of the tenant, that is me, for example, I have all the right to approach the court of law and be like, this is the rental agreement. It states that he will not do this, 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 and this, but he has done exactly that. So I need compensation. I need him um, to stop to stop hindering my peaceful possession and acquiring of the property. So all of that is always so no two people think alike. Everybody is selfish and everybody wants what is best for them. So this basically acts as a security whereby both the parties are like satisfied, like, okay, my my conditions are also met, and the other party is also happy that their conditions are also met. And the point three continues as point four, that there is a documentation of terms and conditions. And then you have enforceability. A rental agreement provides legal basis for enforcing the rights and obligations of both the parties, making it easier to resolve any disputes which may arise in case of a conflict during the tenancy. So these are certain points which act upon the umbrella term of importance of a rental agreement. Moving on, just a conclusion, just giving you a brief, like just a flowchart so you can understand. First of all, a rental agreement is a legal document, number one. Number two, it gives the terms and conditions which both the parties, that is the landlord and the tenant, have to follow, which are the conditions for a rental agreement. It also provides legal protection. It is a security for both landlord as well as the tenant. It mentions the terms of tenancy. It mentions the monetary value. It mentions the security deposit that needs to be mentioned. It also mentions the personal details of both the tenant as well as the landlord. So this is basically essential for ensuring a smooth and mutually beneficial landlord-tenant relationship. Okay, coming to the most important part, um, your problem as well as what you need to do with the problem. So I will be sending you a Word document as well of the problem. You don't need to worry. By tomorrow morning, you will have all the documents required for this particular task. Um, so the problem is you are the legal consultant. Keep this in mind. You are the legal consultant, which means hypothetically you are the advocate here. Okay, so or the legal consultant for that matter in case of this particular problem. You are a legal consultant tasked with drafting a rental agreement for a residential property in Mumbai, India. The landlord, Mr. Rajesh Kumar. Make sure the landlord's name is the same and the tenant's name is the same. Any other names that you include can be different. Don't have to worry about it. And uh, you know, uh, all the addresses and the money and how much BHK, all of that can change if you want. If you want, you can change that, but the names of both the parties will not change, as well as the security deposit will not change. The security deposit will be as is, everything, and the names of the landlord and the tenant will be as is, and the start of the agreement date needs to be the same, November 1st, 2023. It needs to be the same. Apart from that, you can change the address. You can change from 2 BHK to 3 BHK or 4 BHK. You can change the monthly rent from 40,000 to 30,000 or 50,000 or whatever other things you want. But make sure that the rental agreement is fixed for a period of 11 months. Okay. That also needs to be fixed. So certain things you can change and certain things you can't. But if you want to take my opinion, don't change anything. Just let it be as is. The facts and everything will change. But yeah, okay. So the landlord is renting out this 2 BHK apartment located at the address to the tenant, Miss Priya Sharma, for a period of 11 months. The monthly rent is set at rupees 40,000 and a security deposit of 1,50,000 will be collected before the tenant moves in. The agreement is set to begin on November 1st, 2023. Okay, now these are the additional terms and conditions which you need to keep in mind before you, once you start drafting the rental agreement. Please make sure to keep that in mind. I will be sending you um, a Word document including all of this. Your basically what your task is you need to draft a rental agreement, include all the terms and conditions which are mentioned above, ensuring that it complies with the relevant laws of India, especially the rent control laws applicable in Mumbai. Now, for example, you do not know the rent laws applicable in Mumbai, you can always change it. You can change, okay, let's do one thing. You can change the address. You can, but let the names of the parties as well as the period as well as the date of agreement, let that be the same. Apart from that, you can change whatever you want. So basically, you can change that the fact that the property is located in Mumbai. You can change that it's a 2 BHK apartment. You can change the address. You can change the monthly rent. You can change the security deposit. But what needs to be the same is Mr. Rajesh Kumar, Miss Priya Sharma, 11 months and November 1st, 2023. Four things need to be the same, right? Okay, I will make this change and I will send it to you. The second thing you need to do is include standard clauses regarding the responsibilities of both parties, property condition, and other relevant details. All of the details which needs to be mentioned, you have to be mentioning that. That's all. You also need to leave space for signatures of both parties and two witnesses. Um, every legal document, for a document to have validity, it must be attested by two witnesses. And the people who've attended the October batch know that I prefer um, for you to change the font for the signatures and put the signatures where the signatures need to be there. If not, it is just blank. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem very right to me to leave it blank. So you can just change the font and you can just put the name of the particular person. Like, for example, Rajesh Sharma. You can put that. Sorry, Rajesh Kumar. You can put Rajesh Kumar maybe in, let's say, um, Verdana. You can put it in that font. You can, put the signature. I will be sending a sample as well by tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Please give me some time. I have another meeting after this. That. Okay, just one second.